In wealthy households, a mother's life is gentle and peaceful. She doesn't have to lift a finger for housework, doesn't have to worry about cooking meals or cleaning up. Her life consists of calm mornings, sipping fragrant tea at luxurious cafes, soothing afternoons spent at spas indulging in beauty treatments. She returns home with a radiant smile, a gentle expression, and eyes brimming with joy. But in poor households, a mother never finds true peace or relaxation. Her life is a never-ending cycle of exhaustion, struggling from dawn till dusk. It's filled with sweeping, washing dishes, cooking, and desperately trying to stretch every penny to support her family. Every single day feels like a relentless battle against nameless chores, slowly turning her more irritable and bitter. Her eyes are etched with fatigue, her hands cracked from cold water and cheap cleaning chemicals. When she sees her children laughing and playing, she can't even feel happy for them. Instead, it only fuels her anger, and she lashes out with harsh words, an instinctive response to her own helplessness. The yelling isn't directed at anyone in particular, it's just her way of releasing the pain trapped inside. But those words cut deep into the children's hearts, creating a growing distance between them and their mother. Poverty doesn't just weigh down her hands with endless chores, it also crushes her soul. The exhaustion and pressure never end, and a truly peaceful day feels like something she'll never have. In wealthy families, siblings never have to argue over chores. There are no endless fights about who should sweep the floors, wash the dishes, or cook dinner. Instead, their free time is spent going to movies, dining out, or taking cheerful photos together, capturing moments of harmony and love. Conflicts are rare, disagreements easily brushed aside by the comfort of luxury. But in poor households, the absence of hired help turns every simple task into a battlefield. Dishes pile up in the sink, laundry sits neglected, and when the mother is too tired to do it all, the blame gets thrown from one sibling to another. The older sister yells at her younger brother for refusing to clean up. The younger brother sulks, feeling unfairly targeted. Everyone is too exhausted, too frustrated to understand each other. A small home with little space to breathe only makes things worse. Arguments flare up over the smallest inconveniences, and words cut sharper when thrown out of anger and exhaustion. Relationships fray, turning sibling love into simmering resentment. And even when the house finally falls quiet, the silence feels heavy, filled with unspoken hurt. In wealthy families, when parents and children clash, there's always an escape. Arguments are soothed by extravagant vacations, 7-day trips to luxurious resorts where the anger fades between the glow of fancy dinners and breathtaking views. The distance creates calm, and by the time they return home, the wounds feel almost forgotten. But in poor households, there's no such refuge. Arguments explode within the same cramped walls day after day. There's nowhere to hide, no space to cool off. The bitterness lingers in the air, poisoning every corner of the tiny home. Even if they try to avoid each other, the limited space forces them back into the same stifling reality. Anger becomes a vicious cycle. The father's frustration from endless work and financial stress seeps into every conversation. The mother's wariness adds fuel to the fire. And the children, already broken by hurtful words and misunderstanding, grow numb to the shouting. They retreat into themselves, wishing for escape but having nowhere to go. Isolation becomes the only comfort. Everyone drifts further apart, unable to find peace in a place meant to be their sanctuary. In wealthy families, children who feel upset with their parents have countless ways to cope. They drive luxury cars to trendy cafes, drowning their frustration in sugary drinks and laughter with friends. And when that's not enough, they hit the clubs and dance their pain away, finding comfort in the noise, the lights, the crowd. Spending money is their medicine. Every swipe of a card, every new purchase, a temporary bandage for the hurt. And when they finally return home, gifts await them, lipsticks from luxury brands, expensive shoes that others can only dream of. Their anger melts away, washed over by material comforts. "I love you, Mom. I love you, Dad. There's no place like home," they say, as if everything has returned to normal. But in poor households, resentment festers. Arguments end not with apologies or gifts, but with silence. When money is scarce, even the simplest pleasures feel like a cruel joke. Walking away isn't an option when the gas tank is empty, and the only money left is barely enough for a meal. so they stay, trapped in the same space, forced to face the ones who hurt them over and over. They sit alone in a corner, fighting back tears, feeling the weight of the world pressing down on their chest. Their pain finds no relief, only bitterness growing stronger with every passing day. Sometimes, when they're cutting vegetables or staring at the walls of their tiny room, dark thoughts creep in. They wonder if anyone would even care if they disappeared. Maybe then, their absence would finally make someone realize how deeply the wounds have scarred. But even those thoughts bring no comfort, just more pain. In wealthy households, if an older brother spoils his girlfriend with luxury gifts, a pair of elegant Giorgio Armani heels, for example, the younger sister might pout and complain. "You've never bought me anything that nice," she might whine, but her words are met with an indulgent smile. It's no big deal. The brother simply buys her a pair too. Why not? Money is just money, and keeping peace is easy when you can afford to be generous. And if he doesn't buy her anything? She'll run to their mother, voice dripping with playful accusation. "Mom, he bought something for his girlfriend, but not for me." The mother chuckles and buys her not one but two pairs of shoes, because money can buy more than just things. It can buy forgiveness, affection, and harmony. But in poor households, gifts aren't just gifts. They are sacrifices. When an older brother finally saves up enough to buy his girlfriend something special, guilt gnaws at him. He remembers all the times he couldn't be there for his little sister, missed birthdays, ignored pleas for help, promises left unfulfilled. He wonders if she resents him for it. How could she not? The house is falling apart, their parents are exhausted, and he has never been able to give her anything other than borrowed apologies. They barely talk anymore, their conversations reduced to awkward greetings and uncomfortable silence. Distance grows between them. He feels like a stranger in his own family, his attempts at kindness swallowed by the void of poverty. The guilt keeps building, but there's nothing he can do about it. The weight of being unable to give, to show love in the way others do, feels unbearable. In wealthy circles, friendships are free from the weight of need. If a friend is upset, they can simply treat them to dinner at a fancy restaurant or whisk them away on a spontaneous shopping spree. Apologies come wrapped in expensive gifts, and arguments are smoothed over with the swipe of a card. The rich have the luxury of being careless with their words because they know they can always buy their way back into someone's good graces. But in the world of the poor, friendships are fragile, easily shattered by things most people take for granted. When a friend is in trouble and you have nothing to offer but sympathy, it feels like betrayal. And when it's your turn to need help, the shame of asking makes the words choke in your throat. They say true friends are there for you no matter what, but poverty makes everything complicated. You lose sleep over a simple text message from a friend, obsessing over every word, every misplaced emoji, wondering if you've somehow offended them. Maybe they're tired of your problems, tired of how you can never join them for dinner, tired of how you never have money to spare. You try to fix things with apologies and promises you can't keep. You want to treat them to a meal, make things right, but you're broke. And the next day, you see them on social media, smiling alongside new friends, friends who can afford to take them out, who can afford to make them happy. You realise that no matter how hard you try, you can't compete. So you pull away. You stop texting first. You stop reaching out. Better to be alone than to keep feeling like you'll never be enough. In wealthy families, the future is a carefully paved road. Parents with influence and connections hold open doors their children never have to knock on. All they need to do is show up, and the world bends to make space for them. Job interviews feel more like friendly conversations, and promotions are merely stepping stones on a path already laid out. When they return home after a long day, there's no frustration weighing them down. Dinner is served on gleaming plates, and laughter fills the air. Work is just something to pass the time, a means to maintain the comfort they've always known. And when things go wrong, they have the safety namely wealth to catch them. But for the poor, stepping into the world feels like being thrown into a raging storm without shelter. Parents who spent their lives toiling in fields or breaking their backs in factories have nothing to offer but tired encouragements and wishes for a better life. Their children will walk into interviews with fear clinging to their skin, knowing that failure means not just disappointment, but disaster. Every job feels like a lifeline, and the pressure to succeed is suffocating. When the boss is unreasonable or the workload is crushing, they swallow their frustration and nod in agreement. Complaining isn't an option. Quitting isn't a choice. To lose a job is to lose everything. They drag their exhaustion home, but there's no peace waiting for them. The anger from being trampled on all day leaks out into their words, turning simple conversations into arguments. And the bitterness of knowing others have it so easy only deepens the wounds. The weight of inequality makes kindness feel like a luxury, something they can no longer afford.